Tonight, Nigeria Air Force denies paying ransom for recovery of anti-aircraft gun from bandits in Katsina State. Zamfara State government says bandits are using camels to attack communities. Anglican bishops task participants on peaceful Anambra governorship elections. And Gulf Information Technology Exhibition kicks off in Dubai. Nigeria absent due to face-off over Kogi protocols with the United Arab Emirates. Reports on various media platforms of a 20 million naira payment to armed bandits by the Nigerian Air Force, which was alleged to have been made to retrieve an anti-aircraft gun, have been refuted by the Nigerian Air Force. According to a statement signed by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapquet, the report is totally false, and the Nigerian Air Force has no basis to pay bandits, as it reaffirms its unflinching commitment to decisively deal with armed bandits across the nation. The statement asks citizens to continue to cooperate with security agencies as efforts are ongoing to rid the entire nation of criminals and their activities, while also appealing to both the media, international and to media, both international and to be circumspect, in their reportage and endeavor to always verify facts prior to publication. In a fresh round of raids across the nation, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, says it has arrested a fake police officer, a soldier, and a youth corps member who are among 663 drug traffickers and users during operations in Lagos, Abuja, Benue, and other parts of the country in the past week. According to the NDLEA in Lagos, the notorious drug haven, Akala in Mushin, was raided on October 15th, where 2,463.87 kilograms of assorted hard drugs were seized in a joint operation. In Ekiti State, operatives seized over 150,000 kilograms of hard drugs, which was harvested on 40 hectares of land. That was destroyed. While commending officers of the Lagos State Command and their counterparts in other parts of the country for the resilience and commitment to the war against illicit substances, Chairman, Chief Executive of the agency, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, urged his officers not to rest on their oars as he called for continuous interagency collaboration to fight the war on drug abuse nationwide. In the meantime, 2 suspected smugglers have been killed and 2 officers of the Nigeria Customs Service injured when the Federal Operating Unit of the service were attacked during an operation along Shagamu interchange in Ogun State. The patrol team had intercepted 12 vehicles laden with bags of foreign parboiled rice en route Lagos. A statement by the spokesperson of the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, Theophilus Dunia, says the smugglers mobilized themselves with the support of their sympathizers and attacked the team with dangerous weapons, leading to an exchange of gunfire. In the process, 2 of the attackers were reportedly killed and 1 suspect was arrested, while 2 operatives sustained injuries. Operatives were able to leave the scene with 4 of the 12 vehicles laden with smuggled foreign parboiled rice, earlier intercepted from these smugglers. Meanwhile, the acting controller of the units, Hussein Kejibuno, has ordered an investigation into the incident. He asks that attacks like this will not deter customs operatives from carrying out their duties. Good news, however, is the twin daughters of a traditional ruler in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State have been rescued. They were rescued alongside the 3 workers of the monarch. According to a statement by the police public relations officer, Kwara State Command, SP Ajayi Okasomi, the 5 were rescued unhurt. He adds that the kidnappers abandoned them after a hot chase by the police, local hunters and vigilantes. They're said to have undergone medical examination before being handed over to their families. The twin daughters of the monarch were abducted alongside their driver and palace workers while returning from school earlier in the week. We're in the southeast now. The controversy over the anti-open grazing law and Anambra elections formed the thrust of the comments on the state of the nation by bishops and archbishops of the Anglican Communion in Anambra State. They made their positions known in the Fourth Synod of the Diocese at St. Stephen's Anglican Church, Ihiala.
The Fourth Synod of the Diocese of Ihiala takes place at St. Stephen's Anglican Church, Ihiala, Anambra State, where some clergymen, including archbishops and bishops, as well as the laity, gather to celebrate the theme, Worship Acceptable to God, in the 4-day program. It affords them the opportunity to dissect the state of the nation and touch on issues that are affecting them as a people. In view of some of the events that happened ahead of the November 6th governorship election, the Archbishop of Owerri Province advises on peaceful elections.
Pray and advise those who have a contrary view to please allow this election to go so that we will not destroy ourselves.
Discussing other critical issues on the state of the nation, Bishop Okoye, who is also a professor of political science at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, comments on the open grazing controversy.
The battle against open grazing is not against the Fulani. Let it be said clearly. Nobody is fighting the Fulani. What people are fighting is the destruction of people's farms and land.
He also commends the government of Anambra State on the completion of the International Passenger and Cargo Airport.
We are supposed to say, congratulations for a job well done. The project is massive. What is happening there is just wonderful.
As the events round off with greetings, offerings and a photo session for the senior clergyman, the Archbishop of the province of the Niger and Bishop of Awka Diocese, Most Reverend Alexander Ibizim, decried the level of insecurity in some parts of the country and calls for prayers.
The church is praying that there be peace. And then secondly, the church is also calling upon individuals to be responsible. And calling upon government to please pay attention to the agitations of people.
The Synod tasks the 7 southern governors of the country to stick to their guns of ensuring the passage of the anti-open grazing law, with a reminder that as chief security officers of their respective states, they owe their people the responsibility of protecting them at all times.
As part of efforts aimed at ameliorating the condition of students living with different forms of disabilities, the Yobe State University, Damaturu, has granted tuition fee waiver and provided study kits to 23 undergraduate students studying at the university. The Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Mala Daura, in an exclusive interview with Channels Television, says the aim is to support the physically challenged students to further their education, as well as reducing the number of persons living with disabilities roaming the streets.
It appears to be a common practice, especially in northern Nigeria, for persons living with disabilities to end up on the streets begging for alms because of financial challenges. The narrative is, however, changing in Yobe State as Ahmed Yao, a 200-level student of the Department of Sociology, and Ali Mustafa from the History Department are among the 23 physically challenged students granted tuition fee waiver by the Yobe State University.
This waiver is a part of what will encourage us to study. Because I think most of the person that has disability problem, the thing that will that discourage us to be educated is financial issues. So this waiving assisted us to be educated.
The Vice-Chancellor of the university explains the reason why the institution is granting the waiver to the 23 students living with disabilities.
We have already given the approval that throughout their study in the university, they will have pre-tuition, pre-registered, pre-anything. So they will not pay a kobo from the beginning to the end. And we also made it a point that if at the end of their graduation, definitely will find some of them being very bright, possibly we'll be able to engage them as part of staff of the university.
To reduce the number of out-of-school children in the state, the foundation is contributing its quota by offering scholarship to 30 orphans whose parents may have been killed during the Boko Haram insurgency.
Due to the large number of out-of-school children and the situation we are facing around in this our community of insurgency and whatsoever, a lot of children has lost their parents and many other things. So Professor Mohammed Mala Daura, the Vice Chancellor of Yobe State University, decided to offer his help to at least 30 orphans in this school, consisting of 10 female and 20 male boys in the school.
Although insurgency is yet to be reduced to its barest minimum, many are optimistic that other tertiary institutions across the country would emulate the Yobe State University to reduce the number of physically challenged persons roaming the streets.
A proposed amnesty for bandits and terrorist elements in the northeast needs a more effective filtering system to separate hardcore fighters who have committed crimes against humanity from others who might themselves be victims of the insurgent groups. That's the view of the former director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Usman. He told Channel Television's Ladi Akeredulale on our current affairs program Newsnight that those who have suffered the horrors of the violence must be incorporated into whatever system is being devised to bring about reconciliation and healing. General Usman also thinks that given the scale of destruction the insurgency, particularly in the northeast, has brought about, no one should expect speedy return to normalcy in terms of the proposed amnesty.
There is no facet or component of Nigerian society that has not been negatively impacted with this. People's lives were lost, precious lives, businesses were disrupted, structures, and if you look at those towns or those areas that seems to contribute massively to, full security of this country, you talk of Bama, you talk of Mongono, Baga, and the rest of them, you just work out all the infrastructures have been destroyed to the extent even electric pole was destroyed. Talk less of other businesses, filling station, farms, schools, so on and so forth. And people lost their parents, lost their spouses, lost their children. And today you are talking about, forgiveness, integration, and all the rest. It's very difficult for an average human being to take it all at once. Therefore, there should be massive, constructive engagement of the people so that they see the need that definitely we cannot go kinetic all the way. Now that non-kinetic aspect is paying dividends, how do we integrate that into the Nigerian society? You have to talk about justice. Justice for the victims, justice for even the perpetrators of the crimes. Remember, it is not everybody that is in Boko Haram that deliberately entered Boko Haram, because in those days they captured towns, they coerced people into it. So the level of participation in their nefarious activities varies from one individual to another. Therefore, there should be a clear-cut system or process that will distinguish between those that committed heinous crime and those that were coerced and they have not.
You can watch the full interview with General Usman on Newsnight. It airs tomorrow, Monday, October 18th, 2021 at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. In part two, after the break, All Progressives Congress ends congresses across the country with more states reporting parallel executives. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us to watch the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria Air Force denies paying ransom for recovery of anti-aircraft gun from bandits in Katsina State. Zamfara state government says bandits are using camels to attack communities. Ogun bishops task participants on peaceful Anambra governorship elections. And Gulf Information Technology exhibition kicks off in Dubai. Nigeria absent due to face-off over COVID protocols with the United Arab Emirates. We segue into politics now as the All Progressives Congress concludes its elective congress across the country. Mr. Austin Agada has been declared the winner of the chairmanship election of the party in Benue State with 1,386 votes. Although the Benue South senatorial APC stakeholders presented Mr. Omale as their consensus candidate against Mr. Agada, the exercise was hitch-free as all the stakeholders participated in the Congress. In Plateau State, the former secretary to the government, Rufus Bature, emerged as the chairman of the APC in the Congress held at the Crest Hotel, Jos, the state capital, while Fidelis Longban emerged secretary of the party. However, 24 hours after the Adamawa state chapter of the APC commenced its election, the party is yet to conclude the process. Though delegates arrived at the venue of the exercise as early as 8 in the morning, amidst tight security, the exercise did not begin until about 6:30 p.m. when the chairman of the State Congress Committee addressed delegates. Meanwhile, in Ebonyi State, the ruling party elected its new executives to pilot the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. Former acting chairman of the state executive of the party, Stanley Okoro Emega, polled 1,080 from a total of 1,151 votes to emerge winner and was returned duly elected. In his acceptance speech, the newly elected chairman of the APC in Ebonyi State, Mr. Emega, promised to consolidate on the achievements of the party. The All Progressives Congress held its state congresses across the country on Saturday. The exercise was conducted largely via a consensus arrangement with open affirmation of candidates by the delegates. However, there were parallel congresses conducted by factions of the party in some states. This report captures how it all played out in some northern and southern states.
As a build-up to the next general elections, the ruling All Progressives Congress across the country is organizing state congresses to elect new executives. In Cross River State, Mr. Alphonsus Eba emerges as the state party chairman through a consensus voice vote by party delegates at the UJ Swene Stadium in Calabar, the state capital. Governor Ben Ayade expresses satisfaction over the peaceful conduct of the Congress. He believes that this will ensure that Cross River fully becomes an APC state.
Today we have a party that is not just prepared to continue to sustain power in Cross River State, but actually join hands with our other states to ensure that Nigeria remains an APC country.
The Delta State delegates from across all the local government areas via a voice vote elected Omeni Sobotie as the chairman of the state chapter of the APC. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omoagege, who was part of the exercise, calls for unity among members.
We're looking forward to reconciliation. Our doors are open until we're able to achieve that unity. We want to continue to stress on those things that bring us together as opposed to those things that divide us.
Osogbo, the Osun State capital, witnesses parallel congresses as the group loyal to the state governor, Boyega Oyetola, gather at the Osogbo City Stadium, where the incumbent party chairman, Prince Boyega Famodun, emerges victorious via voice vote.
What all of us are praying for at the National Convention, like God has given us today, God will give us the convention.
Governor Oyetola challenges the new party executive to ensure a reconciliatory process that will guarantee unity.
Every delegate must cast his or her votes according to his or her wish. There must be no rancor. It's a party affair. It's an opportunity to select those that will run the affairs of the party for the next 1 year.
Meanwhile, the group loyal to the former governor of the state and Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola gathered at the Oshogbo-Gbogon Road, with Abdul Razak Salisile emerging as the factional chairman of the APC in the state.
2 of our delegates were injured. We were very lucky because we had concluded our programs, and every necessary step had been taken, necessary things concluded.
For ourselves, the beauty of the place.
The Borno State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, through a consensus, adopts its old executive led by Ali Dalori to continue leading the party for another term of 4 years.
We can see here for ourselves the beauty of the place.
The Congress, which held at the Ramat Square, Maiduguri, has in attendance the state governor Babagana Zulum, his predecessor, Kashim Shettima, amongst other party stakeholders.
I will assure you, we will not fail you and your members, and we will not fail all the members of the APC promoted in general.
The APC Congress in Kano State held at the Sani Abacha Indoor Stadium, where Governor Umaru Ganduje and over 3,000 delegates from the 44 local government areas were in attendance. The state party chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, was returned as chairman via a consensus. The governor, who describes the process as peaceful, says stakeholders should disregard any other congress in the state.
Any other location where you have pockets of disgruntled elements performing a similar function is regarded as illegal.
Meanwhile, the parallel faction of the APC in Kano, led by Senator Ibrahim Shekarau and Tijani Jobe, conducted another state congress at Janguza in Tofa local government area, where Amadou Zago emerged parallel chairman.
I thank all of you, and I assure you that being as chairman in Kano State APC, I will not let the party to fail down.
After these state congresses, the attention of the party now shifts to the national convention. Many would be watching, however, how the party is able to resolve the emergence of parallel congresses in several states.
Well, ahead of the 2023 general elections, politicians from Kogi West Senatorial District have unanimously appealed to political leaders from the Central and Eastern Senatorial Districts of the state to cede the governorship position to Kogi West in the spirit of fairness, unity, equity and justice. This is part of the resolutions by the political leaders from the West Senatorial District of Kogi State during a one-day summit organized in Lokoja, the state capital. According to them, the Eastern Senatorial District had occupied the position for over 19 years, with the Central Senatorial District currently occupying the position for 8 years, while the Western District has never had the opportunity of occupying the position since the creation of the state.
The issue of who governs Kogi State come 2023 is in the front burner at this one-day summit organized by the Kogi West Initiative, an umbrella platform of Kogi West Senatorial District established to sensitize the people of the district towards a peaceful demand for the governorship seat. One after the other, speakers at the summit asked the people from the district to be united in their demand and agitation for the governorship seat.
It is only fair and just that come 2023, the West be allowed to produce the next governor of Kogi State.
Our vibrancy, our goal-oriented nature, our desire to make sure that we do things as pace setters, I think this is what Kogi needs as of now.
The chairman of the summit, Senator Tunde Ogbeha, who was represented by a former secretary to the Kogi state government, described the summit as a wake-up call to all indigents of Kogi West.
We have always supported other senatorial districts to be governors. We have been kingmakers. But this time around, I believe, for very good reasons of fairness and equity, that we are overdue to be kings ourselves.
A member from the House of Representatives, however, shares a different view, just as the communiques presented.
I agree completely that we need men of knowledge, but we also need people with deep wallet, because ultimately,
in trying to salvage the situation that we are. Money, and plenty of money has a role to play.
Summit particularly observed without mincing words that Kogi West has played the engine room and pace setters role in the development of Kogi State since its creation. That Kogi West Senatorial District be supported to produce the next governorship seat of the state in 2023.
As the people of Kogi West continue their quest to occupy the Lugard House in the next election, that fate lies in the hands of the generality of the people of the state.
When the News at 10 returns, we'll have a discussion with our data analyst, Babajide Ogusowo, on the nation's security. Plus, floods in India leave more than 20 people dead. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria's session at the GITEX Global Conference in Dubai today failed to hold as Minister of Communication and Digital Economy Isa Ali Pantami's arrival was delayed by the ongoing flight ban between Nigeria and the UAE. However, his African counterparts from Ghana and Kenya went ahead to participate in the Vision Africa Forum, which is part of a one-week-long tech event. Our channel's television's Dubai correspondent Mayowa Adegoke has more.
GITEX 2021, the biggest technology event in the region, kicks off a week-long program with exhibitions and conferences, including GITEX Global. Africa is in focus on day one as leaders in the ICT sectors share progress made in their countries and strategies being implemented to overcome challenges.
ICT contribution is now at 9.5% to GDP. Mobile money subscription is at 75%.
Between June 2020 and 2021, mobile money accounts in Kenya increased by 6 million to 67.8 million. 75% of the population now uses M-Pesa, a local money transfer solution. Similar disruptions are expected in healthcare, mobility and education, with policies being implemented by government.
The government is keenly looking at these things from different dimensions. Number one is in the education sector. How we educate the next generation of people will determine how innovative they become. All right? So you have to create that pipeline of mindsets that, yes, you can be part of the solution, you can innovate. So energize that. The second dimension that I'm seeing the government is doing is in supporting the incubation of ideas. Because once challenges are identified and people create prototypes and ideas, you need to incubate them. And that's why I like using the mother's womb kind of example. Create an appropriate environment for ideas to grow. Now there are over 100 incubation hubs in the country which are supporting different kinds of innovations. Not all of them succeed, and that's fine. Those that succeed, you continue supporting them.
The event presents an opportunity for information sharing at government levels, which in turn helps shape policy direction.
Ours is such a fast-paced and growing industry that you can't relax and say that you've got all the answers. There's always something new happening, and it is as forums like this that you learn about the cutting edge and emerging technologies and see how you can adapt it to suit your own circumstances as well. It's been very useful.
Nigeria's session fails to hold as Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. Professor Isa Ali Pantami's arrival to Dubai is delayed by the lingering flight ban between Nigeria and the UAE.
We are hoping that some of these sessions can be repeated before the end of the week, whereby we still bring the same stakeholders together. The most important thing is to be able to get the message out there, showcase Nigeria, showcase Africa, also let them also meet their counterparts, other ministers that were here too. Some of them are still going to be around, so we're going to still leverage on that.
Minister Pantami was to speak on Nigeria's digital transformation journey and the imperative of cybersecurity. Yet again, Nigeria's participation at a global event in the UAE is truncated by the ongoing diplomatic row. From the Dubai World Trade Center in Dubai, UAE, Mayowa Adegoke for Channels Television News.
Get tested, and get tested again. One of the messages that resonated as the world marks this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Medical experts believe that several women can be saved from the disease if it is detected early. In Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, the Uplift Foundation, an initiative of the wife of the former governor, Mrs. Olufunsho Amosun, has been at the forefront of bringing the tests close to residents. This year was no exception. About 500 women took part in the tests, which were conducted at the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, the state capital.
For 10 years running, the Uplift Development Foundation, promoted by the wife of the immediate past governor of Ogun State, Olufunsho Amosun, has been prioritizing women's health and development, especially cancer, which is the leading cause of death among women globally. The event comes alive on her arrival, and she acknowledges cheers from beneficiaries and political allies of the former governor. Women from the 20 local government areas of the state gather at the Federal Medical Center for awareness talks, as well as free cervical and breast cancer screening and lumpectomy surgeries. Beneficiaries are taken through lectures and courses, prevention and treatment, with emphasis on early detection through constant self-examination, good diet and good personal and environmental hygiene.
It invades the cells of the cervix and it turns those cells over into something else that is capable of invading other parts. They break away from the cervix and they go to the lungs, they can go to the brain, they can go to the bones, and that is when it becomes a cancer.
Though one of the leading causes of deaths, there's also a reassurance that it doesn't have to be a death sentence if detected early, an experience shared by a survivor.
Everything has come back to normal. I give glory to the name of the Lord, and I want to appreciate the organizer of this program, Our Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Funsho Amosun.
Chief Medical Director of the FMC commends the foundation for its consistency.
Listen to human beings, listen to their journeys, trying to associate with them, all their demands, trying to listen to them. I think the Amosun family is one.
Meanwhile, those who have been diagnosed will get free procedures done.
We've made provision for up to 400 women to be screened, breast cancer and cervical cancer. My dear husband has made available funds for any lump that is found during this exercise for the surgery for it to be extracted. So I believe accumulatively about 400 to 500 people should benefit from this program.
The foundation believes that awareness and efforts of this nature will bring succor to indigent members of the society and give many the opportunity to live a better and cancer-free life.
Earlier this week, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, confirmed the death of Abu Musab al-Banawi. Al-Banawi was the leader of the terrorist group Islamic State West African Province. Tonight, data and information consultant Babajide Ogusowo is here to share insights about the outlook for national security in the last quarter of the year. Babajide, great to have you here.
Good evening, Amaji.
Great, so let's go right into it. Al-Banawi's death, what impact will that have and what implications on Nigeria's security?
So first, we grew up learning that when two elephants fight, it is the
suffers.
But that's not the full story. The full story is when two elephants die fighting, it's the butcher that smiles. Let's take a look at what really led, based on what experts believe, to al-Banawi's death. Top 3 reasons, if you take a look at it and if you want to understand it. The first is Islamic State West Africa is a terrorist organization that is different from Boko Haram. Two different leaders. They are terrorist organizations, but they are rival terrorist organizations. In recent times, these rival terrorist organizations that have been operating between Nigeria, Chad, and Cameroon have been involved in a lot of fights. The second reason is, in the last 6 months, the Nigerian military has reduced the area of influence of these terrorist organizations. Borno State has a land area of 34,000 square kilometers. In the last 6 months, the area that the terrorists operate, these two gangs operate, has been limited to less than 5,000 square kilometers. In other words, these rival terrorist organizations are now more in each other's face and they are rivals. This has now even made it more easier for the Nigerian military using its air might to clearly identify where they are and strike. In summary, we are looking at a possibility of Albanowi's death either due to revenge attacks or the airstrike of the military. But the military has taken the right move by keeping us surprised and not saying too much. It's confidential information as to exactly what led to Albanowi's death, but he is dead.
Yes, so let me just cut in here. I know that last week we were talking about defense budgets, and I know the more details have emerged, from the 2022 budget. Any surprises there concerning defense?
Good and bad news. The good news is, let's take a look at what the budget was last year compared to what it is this year, especially if you focus on that capital part, capital expenditure. The good news is capital expenditure in the 2022 budget compared to 2021 budget, we see an increase. So last year, 2021 budget, the capital expenditure for the defense was 121 billion naira. This year, it is 155 billion naira. Based on the next year's budget, 155 billion. This year's budget, 121 billion. But when compared to 2019, we see a weaker performance. So in 2019, the proposed capital budget for defense was 158 billion naira. The defense budget for 2022 is less than that. The reason why this is more important is 158 billion naira in 2019 was at the period when the official exchange rate was 305 naira. So that amount of money created more dollars to be able to purchase foreign military hardware. Now we are seeing a budget that is less in naira, yet the dollar has declined. So the
naira declined.
declined. So the amount of dollars available really to purchase military hardware is less.
Right, Babajide, thank you so much for explaining all of this tonight. I know that many people are worried about the Christmas celebrations coming up. We'll talk about that later.
We will, but in the final analysis, let's not forget, when your enemies are fighting, don't do anything.
That's pretty interesting.
Don't just interrupt them.
Pretty interesting. Thanks again for coming tonight. Still marking Nigeria's 61st independence, Duffel Primer, manufacturers of Indomie noodles, held its annual award ceremony for Nigerians with outstanding characters in the year. An award which notes wonderful achievements of kids and notable Nigerians in social, intellectual, and bravery causes. Also gave an award to renowned singer Sound Sultan and other Nigerians from the medical sector.
Year in, year out, young Nigerians continue to push the limits across all spheres of human endeavor. For Duffel Primer, it has become imperative to identify these young Nigerians who are pace setters and reward them for their outstanding performances.
Children always surprises you. Okay, so one thing that we as an organization trying to do is to try to showcase them, celebrate their act of bravery, right? By doing so, it emulates other children to do the same thing.
The award for distinguishing children has been in existence since 2008, and for the organization, it is an event that has come to stay.
The whole idea is that the more of them that we celebrate in this country, the more they know that, yes, the children that we bring today will be the future leaders of tomorrow.
February 2019. The awardees are dynamic children who have brought positive change to their environment, either by saving a life.
The roller was near the window, so I wanted to remove it. The glass broke. The thing tore my eye.
Till date, Elijah cannot see clearly with his left eye.
Building an IT application for the visually impaired.
This kind of application can be used to the blind, where they can just click or talk, and it reads out to them. It can help them better further their education.
And teaching kids who can't afford to get good education.
Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I believe that if
if children can appreciate, if parents can appreciate children's talents, it could be something very great in the future. I'm there to create more applications to benefit the world.
I feel good, I feel great, and I feel like teaching more children.
I feel awesome, and I appreciate the people that make me happy today.
Celebrate them with a resounding round of applause.
For the organization, awards such as this, which identifies children and youths making remarkable strides in the nation, will not stop, as the award platform forms a foundation on which future leaders of Nigeria will emerge.
As a way of promoting healthy living and improving well-being of Nigerians, Chi Limited, Nigeria's foremost beverage manufacturer, has been commemorating the 3rd edition of its annual World Juice Day. At an hybrid event in Lagos with the theme, Fruit Juice, Powering My Health, My Way, the company's marketing director, Mrs. Toyin Nnodi, said consumers are encouraged to be involved in taking steps in lifestyle modifications and choosing to consume food and drinks that enhance daily nutrition by including fruit juices to boost their health.
Health and well-being have emerged as key focus for consumers, and more importantly in the COVID-19 era, where emphasis have shifted to adjusting to the new normal. Taking control of our well-being by embracing proactive health routines is what Chivita is preaching through its World Juice Day.
This year, we've appropriately titled the Chivita World Juice Day, Fruit Juice, Powering My Health, My Way. There's one thing that runs through. All of us desire good health. We want to eat well, stay healthy, and live well, live long. However, because we're all different, of course, it's important that each of us achieves this one goal, one common goal, in our own unique way.
Fruits and vegetables are loaded with the right amount of essential vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients the body needs to perform all the functions required to keep one healthy.
We realize that fruits and vegetables are ranked as the powerhouses of essential vitamins and minerals. And sincerely, they are medicinal, they help you maintain your good health. And one of the reasons this is because, number one, they are packed with high concentration of vitamin C, vitamin A, minerals and electrolytes, and of course they help you fight infections and diseases.
For the Chivita brand, leaving the wellness story in the mind of consumers did not start today.
You know, whether you are on the go, whether you are at home or whether you are away from home, there is obviously a Chivita for you. So there are a lot of packs, flavors and innovations that we keep coming up with. So wherever you are, there is a Chivita for you. So I think with this initiative, I am very confident and we will further drive this conversation with the consumers.
The annual Chivita World Juice Day is a public interest initiative undertaken by Chi Limited, makers of the Chivita brand of fruit juices, to deepen conversations on the consumption of fruit juices, thus enabling healthy living and happier lives for all Nigerians.
That shows now more than 20 people have been killed in floods in southern India after heavy rains caused rivers to overflow, cutting off towns and villages. Several houses were washed away and people became trapped in the district of Kottayam in Kerala state. Video from the area showed bus passengers rescued after their vehicle was inundated with floodwater. Days of heavy rainfall has caused deadly landslides, and the Indian military has joined rescue efforts. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton has been discharged from a Californian hospital after spending 5 nights under care. Mr. Clinton had been receiving treatment for a urinary tract infection that developed into sepsis. The 75-year-old gave a thumbs up to waiting news crew as he walked out of hospital with his wife, former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Doctors say Mr. Clinton will return home to New York to complete his recovery. Infection is the latest health scare for Mr. Clinton. Back in 2004, at the age of 58, he had a quadruple bypass surgery after doctors found signs of extensive heart disease, and 10 years later, he had a clogged artery opened after complaining of chest pains. In sports news, River State Governor Nyesom Wike has ratified its cooperation agreement with Real Madrid Foundation in the establishment and running of Real Madrid Football Academy in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, which was commissioned in March 2021. Governor Wike says the academy is now set to kickstart activities with the ratification of the agreement in Madrid, Spain. The academy will nurture young football talents, combining academies with sports. The academy, which admits children from ages 9 to 12, has screened and admitted its pioneer students who are set to commence their sporting academic development. Nigeria's sole representative in the CAF Champions League were earlier this evening held to a 1-1 draw by Sudan's Al Hilal in the first leg of the group phase qualification with at the Adokiye Amesemaka Stadium in Port Harcourt. Yasser Mohammed got the opener for the visiting team in the 39th minute of the first half. Rivers United rallied back in the second half, and the pressure on the Sudanese paid off in the 68th minute as an own goal from Saeed Ahmed leveled score ahead of the return leg this weekend. Meanwhile, Bayelsa United recorded a slim victory against Tunisia's CS Sfaxien in the first leg of their CAF Confederation Cup first round tie at the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenagoa. Victory Benyagba got the only goal of the match in the 59th minute of the keenly contested encounter. Newcastle's New Dawn, under the ownership of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, got off to a disappointing start as Tottenham silenced St James's Park with a 3-2 win earlier today. Defeat leaves Newcastle still in the relegation zone without a Premier League win this season. Earlier, West Ham manager David Moyes enjoyed a winning return to Everton as Angelo Bunna's header sealed a 1-0 victory at Goodison Park earlier today. It looked like neither side would break each other down in a war of attrition at Goodison Park, but Obunna rose highest to nod in a corner in the 74th minute to hand West Ham an important 3 points. Kenya's Elisha Rotich has won the men's race at the Paris Marathon, while Ethiopia's Tigist Mumuye topped the women's podium. Rotich set a record as he crossed the line in 2 hours, 4 minutes, 21 seconds. He took nearly a minute off his personal best while breaking Kanisha Bekele's 7-year mark. In the women's race, Memuye ran a time of 2 hours, 26 minutes and 12 seconds after a late surge to seal the biggest win of her career. The race features 60,000 participants from 145 countries. And the main news again. The Nigerian Air Force has denied paying ransom for recovery of anti-aircraft gun from bandits in Katsina State. The Zamfara state government said bandits are using camels to attack communities. Anglican bishops have tasked participants on peaceful Anambra governorship elections. And the Gulf Information Technology exhibition kicked off in Dubai. Nigeria was absent due to face-off over COVID protocols with the United Arab Emirates. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night.